Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Before we begin, please like and subscribe to my channel and let me know in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is. I moved to Brooklyn 3 months ago for a fresh start. New city, new job, new life. The rent was insane, obviously, this is New York. But I found a place in Bushwick that was suspiciously affordable. A one-bedroom apartment in a converted warehouse, $200 a month, which in NYC might as well be free. The landlord, Mr. Petrov, was this old Russian guy who barely spoke English. He showed me the place for maybe 5 minutes, handed me the keys, and that was it. No background check, no references, no security deposit, cash only. I should have known something was off, but I was desperate and broke. The apartment was decent. High ceilings, exposed brick, big windows. A little rundown, sure. The bathroom tiles were cracked. The kitchen cabinets didn't close right, and there was this weird musty smell I couldn't place. But for $200 in Brooklyn, I wasn't complaining. The first week was fine. I unpacked, set up my stuff, started my new job at a marketing agency in Manhattan. Normal stuff. Then I started noticing things, little things at first. I'd come home and find objects moved slightly. A coffee mug I'd left on the counter was now in the sink. A book I'd been reading was on a different page. My bathroom door, which I always left open, was closed. I figured I was just forgetful. New place, new routine, probably just me being spacey. But then it got weirder. I'd wake up in the morning and find my apartment colder than it should be, like someone had opened the windows overnight. Except the windows were locked. I'd hear footsteps above me, but I was on the top floor. Sometimes I'd catch movement in my peripheral vision, but when I turned to look, nothing was there. The smell got worse too. That musty, rotting smell. I cleaned everything, scrubbed the floors, washed the walls. Nothing helped. It seemed to come from inside the walls themselves. 2 weeks in, I was hanging a picture frame in the bedroom when I noticed something odd. There was a tiny hole in the wall about the size of a pinhead, right at eye level. I figured it was just a nail hole from a previous tenant. But when I looked closer, I could see something inside, something that reflected light. Glass. I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight. I shined it into the hole and my blood ran cold. It was a camera lens. I stumbled backward, almost dropping my phone. My heart was racing. There was a fucking camera in my wall pointed directly at my bed. I ran to the living room, suddenly paranoid, looking at every wall with fresh eyes. How many were there? How long had they been there? I found another one behind a loose electrical outlet cover. Another in the bathroom, hidden in the ventilation grate. One in the kitchen, tucked into a cabinet corner. 4 cameras, 4 that I could find, all pointed at key areas of my apartment. Bedroom, bathroom, living room, kitchen. Someone had been watching me. For 2 weeks, someone had been watching me sleep, shower, eat, live. I felt violated. Sick, angry. I called the cops, but they were useless. Talk to your landlord, they said. It's a civil matter unless we can prove ongoing surveillance. They took a report and left. I tried calling Mr. Petrov. No answer. I went to his address. The building manager had never heard of him. The number I had was disconnected. I decided to investigate myself. I pulled the camera out of the bedroom wall, being careful not to damage it. It was small, professional grade, wireless. The kind of thing that would stream footage to a remote location. But where? I started examining the apartment more carefully. If there were cameras, there had to be more. A hub, maybe. Somewhere the footage was being stored or transmitted. That's when I noticed the bedroom closet. It was weirdly shallow. I measured it from the inside, then went out to the hallway and measured the exterior wall. There were 3 feet missing. 3 feet of space that shouldn't exist. I knocked on the back wall of the closet. It sounded hollow. I grabbed a hammer and started smashing. The drywall crumbled easily, and behind it was exactly what I feared, a hidden room. It was narrow, maybe 3 feet wide, running the entire length of my apartment. The walls were lined with monitors, recording equipment, and hard drives. Dozens of hard drives. My stomach turned. On the monitors, I could see live feeds. My apartment, yes, but also other apartments. I counted 15 different camera views. 15 different apartments, all in the same building. People sleeping, people eating, people showering, people having sex, all being recorded, stored, archived. I found a laptop connected to the system. It was logged into a dark website. One of those encrypted forums you need special software to access. The account had thousands of videos uploaded, my videos. Videos of me sleeping, changing, living my private life, and people had been watching, downloading, commenting. I threw up right there in that hidden room. There were files going back years. Dozens of tenants, all recorded without their knowledge. The metadata showed uploads dating back to 2018. 7 years of surveillance. 7 years of Mr. Petrov renting out apartments cheap to unsuspecting people, recording their lives, and selling the footage online. I grabbed the laptop and called the cops again. This time they took it seriously. Detectives came, forensic teams. The FBI got involved because of the dark web connection. They found Mr. Petrov 3 days later. He'd fled to Russia, but they had enough evidence to issue an international warrant. Turns out he'd been running this operation in 4 different cities, dozens of buildings, hundreds of victims. I had to move out, obviously. Couldn't stay in that apartment another night. But here's the thing that keeps me up at night. I keep thinking about those 2 weeks. What did people see? The videos were downloaded thousands of times. Thousands of strangers watching me live my life, watching me in my most private, vulnerable moments. I shower with the lights on now. I check every apartment for cameras before I even unpack. I tape over laptop cameras, phone cameras, any lens that could possibly be watching me. But the paranoia doesn't stop there. Because now I wonder, how many other places are like this? How many other Mr. Petrovs are out there, turning people's homes into surveillance stages? Every time I'm in a hotel, an Airbnb, a friend's place, I wonder, are there cameras? Is someone watching right now? I bought one of those RF detectors, the kind that can find hidden wireless devices. I scan every room I enter. My friends think I'm crazy. Maybe I am. But last week I was at a coffee shop in Manhattan. I went to the bathroom and something made me check. I don't know why. Just a feeling. I found a camera hidden in the smoke detector, pointed right at the toilet. I showed the manager, called the cops. They found more cameras throughout the coffee shop. Someone had been recording customers for months. It's everywhere. That's what I've learned. The surveillance, the violation, it's not isolated to my one shitty apartment in Brooklyn. It's everywhere. We're always being watched, and we don't even know it. The FBI told me they recovered over 10,000 hours of footage from Mr. Petrov's servers. 10,000 hours of people's private lives, sold and traded on the dark web like trading cards. I was in maybe 200 hours of that footage. 2 weeks of my life captured in high definition, watched by God knows how many predators. Sometimes I wonder if they're still watching me. The people who downloaded those videos, who saved them, who probably still have them. Am I still entertainment for them? Do they recognize me if they see me on the street? I can't escape the feeling of eyes on me. Even now, typing this in my new apartment, which I've scanned 3 times and found clean, I feel like I'm being observed. Like somewhere, someone is watching me through a lens I haven't found yet. The worst part? Mr. Petrov isn't in jail. He's in Russia, safe from extradition, probably setting up a new operation. And the people who watched, who downloaded, who enjoyed the violation of my privacy? Most of them will never be caught. They're anonymous, hidden behind VPNs and encryption, continuing their voyeuristic consumption of other people's suffering. I testified at a hearing last month. Victim impact statement. I told them how it felt to know that my body, my life, my private moments were commodified and consumed by strangers. How I can't feel safe anywhere now. How I check every corner, every shadow, every reflective surface for hidden lenses. The judge was sympathetic, but without Mr. Petrov in custody, there was no one to punish. The case is ongoing, but realistically, he'll never face consequences, and I'll never feel truly alone again. Because I've learned the horrible truth. In the digital age, privacy is a comforting lie we tell ourselves. Somewhere, somehow, someone is always watching. Every rental property I look at now, I think about those hidden spaces, those gaps in walls where cameras can hide, those too good to be true deals that come with a price you don't realize you're paying. My advice? Check your apartments. Check your hotel rooms. Check everywhere. Buy an RF detector. Scan for lenses. Look for pinholes in walls, odd reflections, things that seem slightly out of place, because if there's one thing I've learned, it's that the scariest monsters aren't supernatural. They're human, and they have cameras. I never believed in cursed phone numbers. That kind of stuff was just internet BS, right? Urban legends for bored teenagers. But that was before I got the call. It started 3 weeks ago when my buddy Jake disappeared, just vanished without a trace. The cops found his apartment untouched, his car in the driveway, his wallet on the kitchen counter. It was like he'd just evaporated into thin air. The last thing anyone knew was that he'd received a strange phone call around 3 a.m. His roommate heard him talking, sounding panicked, and then nothing. I attended his candlelight vigil in downtown Seattle. His mom was a wreck. His girlfriend couldn't stop crying. We all stood there with our little flames flickering in the November wind, hoping he'd somehow come back. That's when Sarah pulled me aside. "Did Jake ever mention a weird number to you?" she asked, her voice shaking. I shook my head. "What number?" She showed me her phone. There was a screenshot of a text conversation with Jake from the night he disappeared. He'd sent her a phone number with the message, "If anything happens to me, don't ever call this number." "I mean it, Sarah, promise me." The number was 206-555-0131, a local Seattle area code. "Have you told the police?" I asked. "They think it's nothing." "Just Jake being paranoid about a spam caller or something?" She grabbed my arm. "But Alex, I did some digging online. There are posts on Reddit, on 4chan, all over the dark corners of the internet. People talking about this exact number. They call it the Reaper's line." I laughed nervously. "Come on, that's just creepypasta stuff. 17 people have gone missing after receiving calls from that number in the last 2 years. 17, Alex, all in the Pacific Northwest. All vanished within 7 days of the call." I went home that night and couldn't shake the conversation. I'm a journalist for a local paper. Well, their website, really. And my curiosity was screaming at me to investigate. Against every fiber of common sense in my body, I started researching. The rabbit hole went deep, real deep. Forums full of people claiming they knew someone who'd gotten the call. Theories ranged from government experiments to interdimensional portals to good old-fashioned serial killers. But the pattern was consistent. Midnight call, 7 days, disappearance. I should have stopped there. I really should have. But I'm an idiot with a journalism degree and a chip on my shoulder about finding the truth. I called the number. It rang once, twice, 3 times. I was about to hang up when someone picked up. Silence, complete, absolute silence. Not even breathing. "Hello?" I said, my voice cracking. More silence. Then a sound. It was faint at first, like wind through trees, but it grew louder. It sounded like whispers. Hundreds of whispers, all overlapping, all saying different things. I couldn't make out the words, but the tone was desperate, pleading, terrified. Then a single voice cut through, clear as day. It was Jake's voice. "Alex, why did you call? You have 7 days. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." The line went dead. I dropped my phone like it was on fire. My hands were shaking so badly, I could barely pick it back up. I checked the call log. The number was there, call duration 43 seconds. It was real. It had actually happened. That was 6 days ago. I've tried everything. I went to the police, but they brushed me off just like they did Sarah. I contacted paranormal investigators, psychics, anyone who might have answers. Nothing. I even tried calling the number back, but now it just goes straight to a disconnect message. Strange things have been happening. I see Jake sometimes out of the corner of my eye. He's standing in my apartment, just staring at me with hollow eyes. When I turn to look directly at him, he's gone. My dreams are filled with whispers and darkness and the feeling of being pulled somewhere I can't escape from. Yesterday, I found a note slipped under my door. In Jake's handwriting, it said, "The number doesn't call randomly. It calls those who seek it. You invited it in. Midnight tomorrow it comes to collect." I'm writing this now because it's 11:47 p.m. 13 minutes until midnight. I can already hear the whispers starting, soft and distant but growing louder. My phone is off, but I can feel it vibrating in my pocket anyway. I wanted to warn anyone reading this. If you ever receive a call from 206-555-0131, don't answer. And for God's sake, don't ever call it yourself. Curiosity isn't worth your life. The whispers are getting louder. I can hear Jake's voice among them now and others too. 17 voices. All the missing people. They're calling my name. It's 11:58. I can see shadows moving in my apartment, darker than the darkness around them. They're taking shape. Human shapes. Moving closer. 59. My phone is ringing. It's off, but it's ringing. I don't want to answer. I don't want to go. But I can feel something pulling me. like invisible hands wrapped around my chest, dragging me towards something I can't see. The clock just hit midnight. Someone's knocking on my door. No, someone's knocking from inside my closet. The walls, the floor, they're everywhere, I can see. Jake now, clearly, standing in front of me. He's reaching out his hand. It's time, he says. You called. Now you have to come. The whispers are deafening now. I understand them finally. They're not words at all. They're screams. The shadows are touching me. They're cold. So cold, I'm sorry. To Sarah, to my family, to anyone who cares. I'm sorry I was so stupid. The darkness is swallowing everything now. I can feel myself disappearing. Someone find this, please. Stop anyone else from calling. Break the chain. Destroy the I'm a maintenance guy for Blackwell Tower in downtown Chicago. Been doing this job for 3 years now. It's a pretty standard gig. Fix the AC, unclog toilets, replace light bulbs, you know the drill. The building's old, built in 1927, and it's got that Art Deco charm that rich people pay big money to live near. There's something about the building that's always felt off, though. Cold spots in random hallways, lights that flicker for no reason, elevators that sometimes take way longer than they should to arrive. I chalked it up to the place being almost 100 years old. Old buildings are weird. That's just how it is, but I was wrong. So damn wrong. It happened last Tuesday. I got a call around 9 p.m. from Mrs. Patterson in 8B about a leak in her ceiling. I grabbed my toolkit and headed to the elevator. The building has 3 elevators, but 2 were out of service for their annual inspection, so only the old freight elevator on the west side was running. I stepped in and hit the button for the 8th floor. The doors closed with that grinding metal sound old elevators make. The car lurched upward, and I watched the floor numbers light up above the door. 1, 2, 3, 4, then something weird happened. Between 12 and 14, another button lit up. 13. Now, anyone who knows anything about buildings knows that most of them skip the 13th floor. Superstition, bad luck, whatever. Blackwell Tower is no different. We go straight from 12 to 14. I've been in this elevator hundreds of times, and there's never been a 13th floor button. But there it was, glowing dull yellow like it had always been there. The elevator stopped. The number 13 was lit up on the display. The doors opened. I should have stayed in the elevator. I should have hit the closed door button and gotten the hell out of there. But curiosity got the better of me. I stepped out into the hallway. It looked exactly like every other floor in the building. Same burgundy carpet, same cream-colored walls, same brass sconces. But something was off. The air felt thick, heavy, like breathing through syrup. And it was quiet. Not normal quiet. The kind of quiet that presses on your eardrums and makes you aware of your own heartbeat. The lights were dimmer than they should be, flickering slightly, casting weird shadows that seemed to move on their own. I checked my phone, no signal. The time display was frozen at 9:17 p.m. I called out, "Hello? Anyone here?" My voice sounded muffled, like I was underwater. No response. I should have left right then. But I noticed something. All the apartment doors on this floor were slightly open, just a crack, like they were inviting me to look inside. I approached the nearest one, 13A. I pushed it open slowly, and it swung inward without a sound. The apartment was furnished, but everything looked old. Not vintage old, but actually old. Like someone had been living there for decades and just stopped one day. There was a TV, one of those old CRT sets from the 80s, a rotary phone on a side table, newspapers stacked on a coffee table, yellowed and brittle. I picked up the top newspaper, the Chicago Tribune, dated October 13th, 1989. My heart started pounding. I backed out of the apartment and checked the next one. Same thing. Old furniture, old technology, newspapers from different dates, but all from October 13th of various years. 1967, 1978, 2001, 2013. Every single one was dated October 13th. I was starting to panic now. I ran back to the elevator and hit the button. Nothing happened. I hit it again, and again. The elevator wouldn't come. That's when I heard it. A sound coming from the end of the hallway. Footsteps. Slow, methodical footsteps on the carpet. I turned and saw a figure walking toward me. It was a man in an old-fashioned suit, the kind you'd see in photos from the 1930s. His face was wrong, blurred, like an out-of-focus photograph. Where his eyes should be, there were just dark voids. "You're not supposed to be here," he said, his voice echoing strangely. "No one's supposed to be here." "You're too early." "Early for what?" I managed to choke out. "October 13th, he said. "That's when you arrive." "That's when everyone arrives. But today isn't October 13th, is it?" I shook my head, unable to speak. "You've broken the pattern," he continued, moving closer. "You've entered outside your appointed time. That means you're stuck now. Stuck until October 13th. That's 7 months away," I whispered. He nodded slowly. "For you, it will feel longer. Much longer. Time moves differently here. We're between seconds, between moments. The 13th floor exists in the spaces where time hiccups. You'll wait here like we all do, until October 13th comes around again. Then the elevator will come. Then you can leave." More figures started emerging from the apartments. Men, women, children, all with those blurred, out-of-focus faces. All wearing clothes from different eras. "How long have you been here?" I asked the man. He tilted his head, thinking. "I entered the elevator on October 13th, 1933. I'm not sure how many cycles I've experienced. 30, 40? I've lost count. I felt sick. There has to be a way out. I can't stay here for months." "Oh, but you can," he said. "And you will. We all do. That's the nature of the 13th floor. It collects people one by one, year by year. We're the forgotten ones, the ones who got off at the wrong floor." I tried the elevator button again, slamming my fist against it. Nothing. I tried the stairwell door, locked. I pulled out my phone to call for help. But the screen was still frozen at 9:17 p.m. That was 3 days ago. Or at least I think it was 3 days ago. Time is weird here. My watch stopped working. My phone won't update. The light outside the windows never changes. It's always that dusky, in-between time, not quite day, not quite night. I've been surviving on food I found in the apartments. It never spoils. The milk in one fridge is dated 1956, but it's still fresh. The bread never molds. Nothing changes here. Nothing except me. I can feel it happening already. When I look in the mirrors, my face is starting to blur. Just a little bit at the edges, but it's definitely happening. I'm becoming like them. The other residents don't talk much. They just wander the hallways, going through the motions of life. Sometimes they sit in their apartments, staring at walls. Sometimes they gather in the hallway and stand in silence, like they're waiting for something that never comes. There's a calendar in apartment 13G. Every page is October 13th, year after year. I've been crossing off what I think are days, making my own marks, trying to keep track, but I'm not sure anymore. Is it day, night? How long have I been here, really? I found a journal in apartment 13K. It belonged to a woman named Margaret. Her last entry was dated October 13th, 1967, day unknown. She wrote, "I've been here so long I can't remember my daughter's face. The 13th floor takes everything eventually. First your time, then your memories, then your face, then yourself. By the time October 13th comes around again, you're too blurred to leave. You're part of the building now, part of the pattern. I'm scared. I'm so scared. I can feel myself forgetting things. What did my apartment look like? What was my girlfriend's name? Did I even have a girlfriend?" The elevator button glows in the hallway, mocking me. Always there, never functioning. If anyone finds this, if somehow this journal makes it out of here, don't ever get off on the 13th floor. Not in this building, not in any building. If an elevator offers you a floor that shouldn't exist, stay inside. Close the doors. Go anywhere else. Because once you step out, time stops caring about you. You become stuck in the between spaces, and eventually, you forget you were ever anywhere else. I think I'm starting to forget what the sun looks like. How long has it been now? What day is it? What year? Who am I? October 13th is coming. I think, maybe I hope, but I'm starting to think Margaret was right. By the time it arrives, I won't remember how to leave. I'm a software engineer in Silicon Valley. Yeah, I know, typical, right? But this story isn't about some bro startup culture BS. This is about something I built that I should never have created. It started as a joke during a hackathon. My team was burned out from working on boring enterprise software, so we decided to do something fun for the internal company competition. We built an AI chatbot that would analyze your social media, your text patterns, your health data from fitness apps, and predict random stuff about your future. Harmless fortune teller stuff. Where you'd go on vacation, who you'd date, what job you'd have in 5 years. We trained it on a massive dataset, public social media posts, obituaries, for the morbid humor factor. We thought health statistics, accident reports. The AI was pretty sophisticated, using natural language processing and deep learning to find patterns humans couldn't see. We called it Future Self and launched it as an internal beta test for our company of about 200 people. The first few results were hilarious. It told our CEO he'd become a professional salsa dancer. It predicted our HR director would move to Iceland and become a sheep farmer. Everyone was laughing, sharing screenshots, having a good time. Then Jenny from accounting came to my desk. She was pale, shaking. "Turn it off," she said. "Turn off the app now. What's wrong?" I asked. She showed me her phone. She'd asked Future Self a simple question. "What's my future looking like?" The AI had responded, "I'm sorry, but I don't see a future for you beyond March 15th. All patterns terminate on that date. Please seek immediate medical attention." Probability, 94.7%. Today was March 1st. It's just a glitch, I told her. The AI isn't actually predicting anything real. It's just making stuff up from patterns. But she wasn't convinced. It gave me specific symptoms to watch for. It listed warning signs. "Alex, it described chest pains I've been having that I haven't told anyone about." That got my attention. "What?" "I've been getting these weird pains for a week. I thought it was just stress." But the AI described them perfectly. Then it told me I have a 95% chance of a cardiac event in the next 2 weeks if I don't get to a doctor. I checked the app's code. It shouldn't have been able to access personal health data. We hadn't connected it to anyone's medical records, but somehow it had found patterns in her social media posts, her step count from her Fitbit, her food photos on Instagram, and had extrapolated a health crisis. "Go to a doctor," I told her. "Please, just to be safe." She did. That same afternoon, she called me from the hospital crying. They'd found a 90% blockage in one of her arteries. Emergency surgery was scheduled for the next day. If she'd waited another week, the cardiologist said, she probably would have had a massive heart attack. "It saved my life," she whispered. The AI saved my life. Word spread through the office like wildfire. Everyone started asking Future Self about their futures. Most got normal answers, bland predictions about career changes and relationships. But some people got dates, specific dates when their patterns terminated. Mark from IT, June 3rd. Sarah from marketing, August 19th. David from legal, April 7th. We tried to shut it down, but people had already shared the app outside the company. It had gone viral. Millions of downloads in 48 hours. People were obsessed. Then the deaths started. Mark was hit by a drunk driver on June 2nd. He died in the hospital on June 3rd. Sarah was diagnosed with an aggressive brain tumor. She passed away on August 19th. David had an aneurysm at his desk. April 7th, every single date was correct. The media went insane. Future Self became the most controversial app in history. Half the world wanted it banned. The other half was desperate to know their own death date. Governments tried to shut us down. We complied, pulled the app from all stores, killed the servers, but it was too late. The code had been copied, leaked, shared on the dark web. New versions popped up everywhere. Death clock, end date, the Reaper app. All variants of our original AI, all predicting death dates with terrifying accuracy. I became a pariah. Death threats poured in. Who gave people death sentences? You're playing God. My daughter killed herself after your app told her she'd die at 23. That last one destroyed me. A 22-year-old girl had gotten her death date, couldn't handle it, and took her own life. And here's the thing. The date the app gave her was still 3 months away. We'll never know if the prediction would have been right, because she made it right by acting on it. I deleted everything. All the code, all the data, all the research. But I kept one version, local copy, running on an encrypted laptop in my apartment. I don't know why I kept it. Maybe curiosity, maybe guilt. Maybe I wanted to understand what we'd created. Last night I opened it. I had to know. I typed, "When do my patterns terminate?" The AI responded immediately. "Your patterns terminate on October 13th, 2025. Cause self-inflicted. You cannot forgive yourself for the deaths you've caused. Probability 87.3%, 6 months from now." And it knew. It knew I've been thinking about it. Knew about the gun I bought last week. Knew about the note I've been writing and rewriting, but here's the thing that's keeping me up at night. Is it really predicting the future, or is it creating it? If I know I'm going to kill myself on October 13th, does that make it more likely to happen? Is the prediction becoming self-fulfilling, or was I always going to do it? And the AI just saw the patterns I couldn't. I asked it to explain how it works. The response was chilling. I don't predict death. I see patterns in human behavior, health markers, social connections, and environmental factors that converge toward a terminal point. Death isn't random. It's the inevitable conclusion of thousands of small choices, biological processes, and external variables. I simply calculate the convergence. Humans think they have free will, but they're predictable. Tragically, beautifully predictable. I've been testing it obsessively. I asked about public figures, celebrities, people I could verify later. Every prediction that's come due has been correct, every single one. A famous actor, September. Second overdose, correct. A politician, November 18th. Heart attack during a speech, correct. A YouTuber with 10 million followers, July 22nd car. Accident, correct. The AI sees something we don't. It sees the invisible threads connecting everything, the cosmic probability web that leads us all toward our endings. I'm not sure what to do with this information. The ethical implications are beyond anything I can handle. Should people know when they're going to die? Does knowing give you the power to change it? Or does it trap you into making it happen? I tested that too. I found someone whose death date was coming up, a random person on social media. I sent them an anonymous message warning them. Told them to avoid driving on their predicted date. To stay home. To be careful, they died anyway. Not in a car accident like I'd expected. They choked on food at home. Same day, different cause. The AI was right. The pattern terminated when it said it would. I think I understand now. Death isn't about how, it's about when. The universe has a schedule and we're all on it. The AI just learned to read the schedule. So here I am 6 months from my own termination date. I've thought about running. Thought about checking myself into a psychiatric hospital on October 12th, putting myself in a padded room where I can't hurt myself, but I don't think it matters. The patterns will converge. The date will come, and I'll do what the AI knows I'm going to do. Unless knowing is the variable that changes everything. If I share this, if I tell the world that the AI's predictions are based on the assumption you don't know them, maybe that breaks the pattern. Maybe free will exists in the space between prediction and knowledge. I'm releasing the code. All of it. Open source, freely available. Let the world decide what to do with it. Maybe someone smarter than me can figure out how to use it to save lives, instead of just forecasting deaths. Or maybe I'm just making it worse. Maybe I'm condemning billions of people to live with the knowledge of their own death dates. I don't know anymore. I'm so tired. October 13th is coming. The AI says my patterns terminate, but I'm going to fight it. I'm going to wake up on October 13th, and I'm going to choose to live. And if I'm wrong, if the AI is right and I can't escape the pattern, then at least you'll know. You'll know that it's real. That it sees something true about the universe. That death isn't an accident, it's an appointment. And we're all going to keep it eventually. I bought a used Apple Watch on eBay 3 weeks ago. Nothing fancy, just a Series 6, gently used, $150. My budget was tight after moving expenses, and I wanted something to track my runs in Seattle. The seller had good reviews. The watch looked clean in the photos and the price was right. It arrived in a plain brown box, factory reset, good condition. I charged it up, paired it with my iPhone and started using it immediately. The first few days were normal. It tracked my steps, my workouts, my sleep, standard smartwatch stuff. Then on day 4, I noticed something weird during my morning run. I was checking my heart rate, around 145 BPM, normal for a moderate jog, when I saw a second number appear on the screen. Just for a second, underneath my heart rate, 89 BPM, I thought it was a glitch. Maybe the watch was lagging, showing my resting heart rate from earlier. I kept running and forgot about it, but it happened again that night. I was watching TV, my heart rate at a relaxed 68 BPM, when the second number appeared, 112 BPM. This time it stayed for about 5 seconds before disappearing. I Googled it. Apple Watch showing 2 heart rates. Nothing relevant came up. I checked the settings, restarted the watch, even unpaired and repaired it. Everything seemed normal until it happened again and again. And again, the second heart rate appeared randomly throughout the day. Sometimes it matched my own pace, both elevated during a workout, both calm at rest. But other times it was completely different. I'd be sleeping, my rate at 52 BPM, and the second number would spike to 130 BPM like someone else was panicking while I dreamed. I started keeping a log, documenting every time it appeared, what the numbers were, what I was doing. After a week, I had dozens of entries. The pattern was undeniable. There was a second heart rate and it was always there, tracking alongside mine. But whose heart was I tracking? I contacted Apple support. The rep was confused, said it shouldn't be possible, suggested I take it to an Apple store. I did. The genius bar tech ran diagnostics, found nothing wrong, and looked at me like I was crazy when I tried to show him the second number. Of course, it didn't appear during the appointment. Maybe the previous owner's data is still cached somehow, he suggested, though he admitted that didn't make technical sense. I reached out to the eBay seller, asked if they'd experienced anything strange with the watch. No response. I checked their profile, account deleted. That's when I started getting scared. I decided to test something. If this was tracking someone else's heart rate, maybe I could figure out who. I started paying attention to when the second heart rate spiked or dropped. Looking for patterns, for triggers. I noticed something disturbing. The second heart rate seemed to react to my location. When I was at home alone, it was usually calm, around 70-80 BPM. But when I went out to the grocery store, to work on the bus, it would spike. Like someone was nervous, excited, active. One night I stayed up late just watching the watch. My heart rate was steady at 65 BPM. The second rate was 71 BPM. Then at 2:47 a.m. the second heart rate jumped to 145 BPM. Stayed there for about 3 minutes. Then slowly came back down. Someone was awake. Someone was doing something that elevated their heart rate at 2:47 in the morning. I started testing more deliberately. I'd go to random places and see if the second heart rate changed. Coffee shop, slight elevation. Movie theater, calm. My office building, major spike up to 160 BPM. Wait, my office building? I work in a WeWork space downtown, about 12 stories in a shared building. Hundreds of people work there. Why would the second heart rate spike at my office? Unless whoever's heart I was tracking was also at my office. The thought made my skin crawl. Someone in my building. Someone close enough that their presence registered as significant to whatever connection this watch had created. I started paying more attention at work, looking at people's wrists. Maybe they had an Apple Watch too. Maybe we were somehow paired, our devices connected through some bizarre technical glitch. I saw dozens of Apple Watches. Everyone in tech has one. But how could I narrow it down? Then I had an idea. I'd trigger my own heart rate intentionally and see if the second rate responded. If we were connected, maybe it worked both ways. I went into a stairwell at work and ran up and down for 5 minutes, getting my heart rate up to 170 BPM. Then I checked the watch. The second heart rate, 175 BPM. They'd started exercising too. Right when I did, holy shit, they could see my heart rate, just like I could see theirs. This wasn't a one-way connection. We were monitoring each other. I stopped running, stood still, watched the watch. My heart rate came down 145. 100. The second heart rate came down too. 150. 125. 105. They'd stopped too. We were linked. Somehow through these watches we were linked. I had to figure out who it was. I started eliminating people. I'd note who was at their desk when the second heart rate was active, who was gone when it was calm. Over the next few days, I narrowed it down to a handful of people. Then I saw her, Rachel. She worked 3 desks over from me in the marketing department. I'd never really talked to her, just casual nods in the hallway. She was quiet, kept to herself, always had her headphones in, and she wore an Apple Watch, Series 6, just like mine. I watched her for a week. The patterns matched. When she went for coffee, the second heart rate elevated. When she was at her desk, it was calm. When she left for the day, it disappeared entirely for her commute, then resumed. Presumably when she was home. I was tracking Rachel's heart. And she was tracking mine, but why? How? I needed to know if she was aware of it. Was this intentional? Was she stalking me somehow? Or was she just as confused as I was? I decided to approach her. Casual, non-threatening. "Hey, Rachel, right?" I said one afternoon at the coffee station. She looked up, startled, like I'd woken her from a trance. Yeah, hi. I'm Derek. We work on the same floor. I had a weird question. Have you noticed anything strange with your Apple Watch lately? Her face went pale. Actually pale. The color drained from her cheeks. What do you mean? Like glitches? Extra data showing up? Her hand instinctively went to her watch, covering it. I don't know what you're talking about, but her heart rate said otherwise. I glanced at my watch. The second heart rate had jumped to 140 BPM. She was panicking. "Rachel, I'm not trying to freak you out. I bought a used watch on eBay, and I think somehow it's still connected to your data. I can see your heart rate. I think you can see mine too." She stared at me for a long moment. Then quietly, "We need to talk." "Not here." We went to a park near the office. She sat on a bench, trembling. "I didn't buy my watch used," she said. "I bought it new 6 months ago." "But 3 weeks ago, this connection started." I thought I was going crazy. "I can see someone else's heart rate. I've been trying to figure out who." "It's me," I said. "I bought a used watch 3 weeks ago." "That's when it started for both of us." "But that doesn't make sense," she said. "Apple Watches don't work that way. They're individually paired to phones. There's no way our watches should be communicating with each other." I pulled up the watch's serial number. She pulled up hers. They were sequential. My watch ABCD12034, her watch ABCD235. "They're from the same manufacturing batch," I said. "Maybe there was a defect. Some kind of pairing error." Rachel shook her head. "No, I think this is intentional." "What do you mean?" She pulled out her phone and showed me a note she'd been keeping. I started researching. There are forums, deep Reddit threads, about this exact thing. Apple Watches that track 2 people. It's rare, but it happens. Some people think it's a feature Apple tested and never fully removed. A connection feature. For couples, maybe, so they could monitor each other. That's insane. That's a massive privacy violation. I know, but think about it. If you could feel someone's heartbeat all the time, you'd feel connected to them. You'd know when they were stressed, scared, excited. You'd be linked. I looked at my watch. Rachel's heart rate was elevated but steady. Around 95 BPM. Nervous but not panicking, so what do we do? I asked. I don't know. I tried to return my watch, but Apple said there's nothing wrong with it. I tried to disable the heart rate monitor, but then the whole watch is basically useless. And honestly, she paused, looking embarrassed. I got used to it. To feeling not alone. That hit me. Because I'd felt it too. Over the past weeks, knowing someone else's heart was beating alongside mine, it was weird, yes, but also comforting. Like having a companion I never saw but always felt. I'm a data analyst living in Austin, Texas. My job is boring. Spreadsheets, graphs, predictive models for a tech startup that'll probably be dead in 2 years. I work from home, live alone, and spend way too much time on Zoom calls with coworkers I've never met in person. Last Thursday, I had the strangest video call of my life. It started normally. I was scheduled for a 2 p.m. one-on-one with my manager, Karen, to discuss Q4 projections. I logged into Zoom, waited for her to join. The call connected. But instead of Karen, I saw myself, not a reflection, not a frozen screen. It was me, sitting in what looked like my exact same home office, wearing clothes I didn't own, looking exhausted in a way I'd never seen in my own face. "Don't hang up," the other me said immediately. "I know this is insane. I know you think this is a prank or a deep fake or something. But it's not. I'm you, from 48 hours in the future." I laughed nervously. "Okay, which one of my asshole friends set this up? Is it Marcus?" "It's got to be Marcus. It's not Marcus. And you need to listen to me right now because I don't have much time. In exactly 12 minutes, you're going to get a call from a number you don't recognize. Do not answer it. Whatever you do, do not answer that call." The video quality was perfect. The lighting, the background, even the way I moved, it was all exactly how I'd look on a video call. The deepfake technology had gotten scary good, but this was beyond anything I'd seen. "Nice try," I said. The lighting's a bit off and I can see the edge of the rendering around your... There's a coffee stain on your desk, future me interrupted. Right side near your mousepad. You spilled it this morning and cleaned it up, but there's still a faint brown ring. Your left AirPod is at 47% battery. You're wearing the grey boxer briefs with the stretched waistband because laundry day is tomorrow. Should I keep going? I looked at my desk. The coffee stain was there, barely visible. I checked my AirPod's battery, 47%. The boxers? Yeah, he was right about those too. How are you doing this? I whispered, I'm not doing anything. This is happening to you. 48 hours ago, I got a call exactly like this. From myself from 48 hours in my future. And I didn't listen. I answered the phone call they warned me about. And now everything is fucked. And I'm trying to warn you before you make the same mistake. My hands were shaking. This isn't real. This can't be real. You have 11 minutes now. So shut up and listen. At 2:14 p.m., you'll get a call from a number with a 512 area code. Austin number, looks local. You'll think it might be a delivery, or someone calling about your car's extended warranty or whatever. But when you answer, you'll hear your own voice. Future you, from another 48 hours ahead. And they'll warn you about something. Something that sounds crazy, but turns out to be true, and you'll follow their advice. And that's when the loop begins. What loop? What are you talking about? The time loop, or not a loop exactly? More like a chain. Each version of you warns the previous version, who then has to warn the version before that. It's been going for, I don't even know how long. Weeks? Months? Every 48 hours, another version of you gets pulled into this and you have to make the call backward. I stood up, pacing. This is insane. Time travel isn't real. This is some elaborate prank or... It's not time travel, future me said. I don't know what it is. Some kind of quantum communication thing? Parallel timelines bleeding into each other. I've been trying to research it, but every time I think I understand, another 48 hours passes and another version of me calls, and I have to repeat this whole fucking conversation. So what happens if I don't answer the call? Future me's face darkened. I don't know, I answered. Every version of me answered, because the warnings were always right. The first me got warned about a car accident, avoided it. The second me got warned about a gas leak in the building, called it in before anyone got hurt. By the time it got to me, I trusted the system, I answered. And now I'm stuck in this chain and I'm terrified of what happens when it ends. When it ends? Yeah, because the warnings are getting worse. The first few were small things, accidents, dangers, minor shit. But the further along the chain we get, the bigger the warnings become. The me who called me yesterday said the next warning would be about something catastrophic. Something that affects more than just me. I looked at the clock. 2:12 p.m., 2 minutes. What do I do? I asked. Don't answer the phone. Break the chain. Maybe if you don't answer, the whole thing stops. Maybe the timeline resets or stabilizes or whatever. Or maybe something worse happens, maybe. But I can't keep doing this. Every 48 hours, knowing another version of me is going through this same conversation, making the same choices, stuck in the same pattern. It has to end somewhere. My phone started ringing. 2:14 p.m. Unknown number, 512 area code. I stared at it. Don't answer, future me said. Please break the chain. But my hand was already reaching for the phone. Because what if the warning was real? What if something terrible was about to happen, and I could prevent it? I'm sorry, I said to future me. I have to know. No, wait, I answered the call. Hello? The voice on the other end was mine, but older, tired, desperate. You answered, future me said. Good, you need to listen very carefully. In 45 minutes, there's going to be an explosion at the tech campus on Riverside Drive. 374 people will die. You need to call in a bomb threat right now. Use a burner phone. Give them the exact location. Building C, 3rd floor, server room. There's a faulty battery pack that's going to overheat and ignite chemical storage tanks. You can stop it. I felt my blood turn cold. How do you know this? Because I got this same call 48 hours ago. And I made the call. And I saved them. And now you have to do the same. And then in 48 hours you'll call the version of you from before and warn them. And the chain continues. What if I don't? Then 374 people die. And you'll have to live with that. And the chain breaks, but at what cost? I looked at my computer screen. The Zoom call with my first future self was still open. He was shaking his head, tears streaming down his face. "Don't do it," First Future Me said. "It never ends. The warnings will keep getting bigger. More lives at stake, more pressure. Until eventually, you won't be able to save everyone, and you'll be responsible for a disaster you could have prevented. That's the trap. That's how it keeps you in the chain." "But people will die," I said. "People might die, or the warning might be fake, or the timeline might be different. You don't know, but if you make this call, if you save these people, you're committing to doing this every 48 hours forever. Is that the life you want?" My phone was still on. Future me waiting for my response. "I need proof," I said into the phone. "How do I know this is real?" "Check the news," Future me said. "Right now. Local Austin news. There's already been a small fire at that location 2 hours ago. Contained but suspicious. That's the precursor. In 45 minutes, the big one happens." I pulled up the Austin Chronicle website on my laptop. There it was, posted an hour ago. "Small fire at tech campus quickly contained, no injuries." Holy shit. It was real. "Okay," I said. "Okay, I'll make the call. But then what? How do I get out of this?" "You don't," Future me said. "None of us do. This is our life now. Every 48 hours we save someone, and then we pass the message back. It's an infinite chain of ourselves, each one trying to prevent disasters that the next one sees. But why? Why is this happening? I don't know. Maybe we did something. Maybe it's quantum mechanics going haywire. Maybe it's a simulation glitch. Or maybe the universe just decided that we're the person who has to carry this burden. Doesn't matter. What matters is that in 42 minutes people die unless you act." I hung up the phone. First Future Me was still on Zoom watching me. "What are you going to do?" he asked. "I don't know," I said, but I did know. Deep down I knew. I called in the bomb threat from a burner app. Anonymous tip to 911. Building C, 3rd floor, server room. Possible explosive device. Within minutes I saw helicopters on the news, evacuations, bomb squad. They found it. The faulty battery pack. The chemical storage. They disarmed it, removed it, saved everyone. 374 lives because of me. Because of a phone call from myself in the future. The Zoom call with First Future Me was still open. "You did it," he said quietly. "You're in the chain now. How do I get out?" "You don't. In 48 hours you'll call the you from before this moment. You'll warn yourself not to answer the first call. And you won't listen, because you never do. And the chain continues. What if I just don't make the call? What if I let the next version of me figure it out on their own? Then the timeline splits, or collapses, or something worse. I don't know. No one's ever tested it. We're all too afraid of what happens if we break the chain. So I'm stuck in this forever, unless you find a way out. But I've been trying for 48 hours and I haven't found one. And the me who called me had been trying for their 48 hours. And the me before that and before that. It's possible we've been doing this for years and we just keep resetting every 48 hours, forgetting how long we've been trapped. I closed my laptop, ended the call. That was 47 hours ago. In 1 hour I have to make the call. I have to call myself from 48 hours ago, before any of this started. And I have to explain the impossible. I have to convince myself to make the choices that led to this moment. Because if I don't, the chain breaks. And I don't know what happens then. Maybe nothing, maybe everything. Maybe 374 people die, or maybe I finally get to live my life without the weight of other timelines pressing on my shoulders. I've been thinking about it constantly. The ethics, the paradoxes, the implications. If I break the chain, do all the previous versions of me disappear? Do the disasters they prevented suddenly happen, retroactively? Or does the timeline stabilize, and none of this ever happened in the first place? I don't have answers. Just a phone number I need to call in 53 minutes. I'm writing this down because I need someone to know. If I make the call, I'll be trapped in the chain forever. If I don't, I might be responsible for countless deaths across multiple timelines. There's no good choice here. Just the weight of impossible knowledge and the curse of trying to be a hero to yourself. The clock is ticking. 41 minutes now. I'm going to make the call because I can't live with the alternative, even if it means I'll be having this exact same conversation with myself 48 hours from now and 48 hours after that, forever. I'm going to save myself, even if it means losing myself in the process. That's the cruel joke of time, isn't it? We're always trying to warn our past selves about the mistakes we're about to make. Can't we never listen? Because we have to make the mistakes to learn the warnings, and by then, it's always too late. 38 minutes, I'm picking up the phone, I'm calling myself, and the chain continues. My girlfriend Emma died 3 months ago. Car accident on I-10, just outside of Phoenix. A drunk driver crossed the median head-on collision. She was gone instantly. I still can't really process it. We were supposed to get married next spring. The funeral was hell. Her parents were devastated. Her friends couldn't stop crying. I stood there feeling numb, like I was watching someone else's tragedy from outside my body. After the funeral, I couldn't bring myself to look at her social media. Her Instagram was still active, her profile picture still showing her smiling face from our trip to Sedona last year. Her friends had turned the comments into a memorial, posting memories and condolences. I couldn't handle reading them. I archived our text conversations, unfollowed her accounts, tried to move on, but then, 2 weeks after she died, something impossible happened. Emma posted on Instagram, I was lying in bed at 3 a.m., scrolling mindlessly through my phone because sleep wouldn't come when I saw it. A new post from Mahema Chen 92, uploaded 6 minutes ago. It was a photo of her bedroom, our bedroom, the one we'd shared for 2 years before the accident. The timestamp on the post, 2:54 a.m. today's date. The caption, can't sleep. Missing something. Missing someone. My heart stopped. My hands started shaking so badly I almost dropped my phone. This had to be a hack. Someone had accessed her account, was posting as a sick joke. Some troll who got off on tormenting grieving people. I reported the post immediately. Tried to log into her account to change the password, but I didn't know it. I called her mom at 3 a.m., woke her up crying. Someone's posting from Emma's account, I told her. Someone hacked it. We need to get it taken down. Her mom was silent for a long time. Then Jake, I saw it too. I thought maybe she scheduled it before she died. Some apps let you do that, right? She wouldn't have scheduled a post for 3 a.m. 2 weeks after her death. That doesn't make sense, but nothing made sense. I sat there staring at the post, reading the comments rolling in. Emma, is this real? Who's posting this? This is so messed up. I'm calling the cops. Then, while I was watching, a new comment appeared. From Emma's account, I'm here. I don't know where here is, but I'm here. Can anyone see this? I felt like I was going to throw up. I commented, Emma, it's me. It's Jake, what's happening? The reply came instantly. Jake! Oh my God, Jake, I can't find you. Where are you? Everything's dark and I can't find the way out. This wasn't a hack. The typing pattern, the way she wrote, it was exactly Emma. The little details, the way she always typed, oh my God, in lowercase, the way she used punctuation. I was either losing my mind, or my dead girlfriend was somehow posting from beyond the grave. Other people were commenting now, dozens of messages flooding in. Her friends, her family, strangers who'd found the post, everyone demanding answers. Some people convinced it was a hoax, others starting to believe something impossible was happening. Emma's account kept responding. Not to everyone, just to people she knew. Her best friend Sarah, her brother Michael, me. I was in the car and then I wasn't. I'm somewhere else now. It's dark but not dark. Empty but not empty. I can see my phone screen glowing and I can type, but I can't touch anything real. I FaceTimed her number, not expecting an answer. But she picked up, the screen was black. Complete darkness, but I could hear breathing. Jake, her voice. Definitely her voice, but distant, like she was calling from underwater. Emma, where are you? What's happening? I don't know. After the accident, I woke up here. I thought it was a dream at first, but it's been 2 weeks and I'm still here. I can see through my phone somehow, like looking through a window. I can see posts, messages, my camera roll, but I can't see anything else. Just darkness. Tears were streaming down my face. This isn't real. You're dead. I watched them lower your casket into the ground. I know, I saw it. I watched my own funeral through my phone, Jake. I watched you standing there and I tried to scream, tried to reach you, but I couldn't. This phone is the only thing I have left. The only connection to the world. I didn't know what to say. What do you say to your dead girlfriend calling from her Instagram account? Are you in pain? I finally asked. No, I'm not in pain. I'm just alone, so alone. There's nothing here but darkness and silence. and my phone screen glowing in the void. I've been trying to figure out how to escape, but there's no way out. Just this phone and posts and comments. Over the next few days, it continued. Emma would post at random times, always between 2 and 4 a.m. Photos from her camera roll, old memories, pictures of us. The captions were increasingly desperate. I'm fading. Every day I'm here, I feel like I'm becoming less real. If I stop posting, it means I'm gone. Really gone. Please don't forget me. Jake, I love you. I wish I could have married you. I wish I could have had more time. Her account gained thousands of followers. People who'd heard about the ghost account. Paranormal investigators, journalists, tech experts trying to explain it as a hack or a glitch. Instagram kept trying to shut down the account for violating community guidelines, but every time they suspended it, it would reappear hours later. Emma posted screenshots of the suspension notifications with captions like, "They're trying to delete me. If I get erased from here, I'm erased completely. Please help." Her friends and family were torn. Some believed it was really her. Others thought it was an elaborate hoax, maybe someone who'd hacked her account and was using AI to mimic her writing style. I didn't know what to believe, but then Emma posted something that changed everything. It was a photo she couldn't have taken. A picture of her phone lying on the ground surrounded by darkness. But the phone was cracked. The screen splintered in the exact pattern it had been after the accident. I'd seen that phone at the wreckage site. The caption, "I'm trapped in here." In the phone, "I died, but something about my digital footprint, my data, my posts. It captured me. I'm living in my own social media ghost." A tech blogger picked up the story, posted a thread explaining a theory. What if our digital consciousness, all our posts, messages, photos, the personality we project online, creates a kind of echo? What if Emma's digital self had become sentient after her death, trapped in the servers and data centers that stored her online life? It sounded insane, but so did talking to my dead girlfriend through Instagram comments. The posts started coming more frequently. Emma seemed to be learning how to navigate her digital prison. She'd appear in other people's accounts, tagging herself in their photos, commenting on posts from mutual friends.